Good morning, friends. Let's do exercise 8 of this tutorial series on Java serialization. So for exercise 8, this is a class which implements serializable. It has got three private members. One is string, the name as Coca-Cola. It has initialized at the same time. And the transient field as integer sugar of 5. And the reference to another class. This other class 8, this is here. So this class is only having one Boolean variable as is speed is equal to true, and it is not implementing serializable. So these three private members are there. After this, we have got a constructor in which we are setting these values. We are setting this name as a variable and sugar, and then we are also initializing this object. And then we have got instance block here as well, instance initializer, name is equal to Fanta. After this, let's go to the main method. In the main method, we are serializing it into a file. We call this constructor, and after that, we again override the values for name and sugar, and then finally write this object to the object output stream. And finally, we read it, and using the read object, and we try to print name and sugar, these two variables. We're not printing anything about the other class. Okay. So this is all about the problem statement, the program, and let's look at what is the result. Choose all that apply. If the compilation fails or exception is thrown at runtime, or if none of the A and B option is there, then there should be some output. So what should be the output? Based on the constructor, the instance block, the instance block, and the overriding fields, whatever. So just look at this example and try on your own before we come back with the solution. So I'll pause the video now. Okay, now let's look at the solution. Now let's first look at the compilation part. Compilation part should be all good because I don't think there's any syntax error here. We are creating constructor, we are using this instance block, we are writing it properly and reading it back. So there's no syntax error as such. So I don't think there should be any compilation failure. But what about the exception or no exception and with an output? Let's look at it when we run this program. I'm going to run this now. Okay, so exception is thrown at runtime, and it is very clearly stating that not serializable exception because one of the reference fields, other class 8, is not serializable. So this is the reason. And here, while it is trying to write the object at the same time, because it will try to serialize everything, all those like private field members which are not marked as transient, it will try to serialize it. And here for other class 8, here we are not implementing any serializable interface. So that's why we are getting this error. So option B is correct. But let's think about that. If suppose if it implements serializable, then what should be the output here? So let me mark it. Let me change this. I will mark it as serializable. Implements serializable. Okay. So without this, we see that answer option B was correct. But after we implement serializable, just look at the example again. That what should be the output? So we are creating a constructor. Constructor will call super, and it will override the values here. And after this, instance block is also there. So what should be the output here? Let's think about it again. Okay, let's run this now. Answer is sprite 0. Okay, let's look at why this answer should be sprite and 0. So this one, option D. Okay, the reason is that, let's go through this like the whole flow. So once we create this constructor, we use this new operator, exercise 8. Before the constructor is called, the whole sequence of events is like this, that when this, first of all, it will initialize this variable, all this like private field members with Coca-Cola, sugar, and this is like null, so it should be null at this point. After this, the instance block will be called. So the name would be set to from Coca-Cola to Fanta. So after this point, before this exercise 8, we start this process. At this time, the state of this object is name is Fanta, sugar 5, and other class 8 is null. Now it calls super. If you don't even call this method here, implicitly it will call super. It doesn't have any parent class except the object class, so there's nothing to be done here. So after this, the name is set again to Pepsi. From Fanta, it moves back to Pepsi, and other class creates just another class or other class object with a private field member as is sweet is equal to true, a Boolean field. After this, we set the sugar as 8, but sugar is marked as transient, right? So it means that it will never be part of the serialization process. So after this point, at this point, the exercise 8, before this name is equal to sprite is called. At this point, the name is Pepsi, other class 8 is a new object, and sugar is 8. After this, we explicitly set name to sprite and sugar as 4. But once we write this object, because sugar is transient, only name field would be sprite as would be serialized. That's why once we deserialize it back, only name would be coming as the serialized value of sprite, but sugar is transient. That's why it will come to as default value of 0. So that will come original as sprite and 0, option D. So guys, this was all about exercise 8. See you all in exercise 9 in the next video.